Oh, hi there. If you're here, then you're one of the very, very privileged people to be invited to my book cave. Okay, guys, welcome to Yamistic Contains. Today I'm going to be introducing you into a new segment, Yaman's Book Reviews. I'm going to be taking you through an experience that you will never forget. The thoughts, the ideas that go through my mind while I read a book. So today I am going to be reviewing The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. For those of you who do not know, this is a new segment, brand new, and I'm going to be reviewing books every month, one book per month. At the end of the month, one day in the week, last week of the month, I'm going to post a review just like this one, telling you what my thoughts were about the book, basically anything I want to say about the book. Like, it's not like I'm an expert on book reviews or anything, but I just want to share with you my love for books. So I hope you really enjoy this. I read the book for the first time in 2019. It was part of the lineup for a book club that I was in, and I just absolutely fell in love with this book. So I decided that this was gonna be my first book to review, because I basically know everything about the book front to back. But the thing is, I had to read it again because there were some things I missed and I had forgotten, and I also treated myself to the graphic version, which is awesome. Anywho, so going deep into the book, according to Wikipedia, this book was written in 1988 and was first published in Portuguese, and it was later translated. The book, The Alchemist, is about a young shepherd who goes in search of his destiny, basically, and he's actually prompted to do this because of a recurring dream that he had. Guys, if you do not like spoilers, then this is probably the best time for you to get up out of here. I'm going to be going deep into this book, so if you haven't read it and you really do not like spoilers, then I would tell you to probably just go and read it and come back. It is a really short book. It's about 163 pages, right? So you can actually read it real quick and come back to watch this video. So that being said, yeah, I was talking about the summary. Now, the book is set in, there are two locations. So there's Andalusia, which is in Spain, and there's Egypt, which is in Africa. So he travels from Andalusia to Africa in search of his treasure, which he dreamt was going to be at the pyramids of Egypt. I'm not going to tell you the whole story of the book. Obviously, it's a book review, not a book telling or storytelling. So go read the book and get the feel of the book by yourself. It's really lovely. The major characters. So the major character of the book, the shepherd boy, his name is Santiago, but he meets with different people along the way in his journey. But the funny thing is that most of them did not really have names. So the book is so simple in its writing. There are a lot of things that are written with books, like names and a lot of embellishments, and yes, they make a book really lovely. But this guy just literally just wrote a book without any names, and it was perfect. I didn't need to know their names. I just needed to know who they were, and it just made it seem very, very plain and simple, if you know what I mean. And also, as well as the language too, the English that was used, the writing style, really, really easy to understand. I felt like he wanted this book to reach every single person in the world, and he really did a great job in trying to achieve that. So so the major character was Santiago. He met with a merchant, a king, a crystal merchant, and there's an Englishman, and there's the alchemist, which is obviously the name of the book. So it's supposed to be kind of like the really, really main character, but the book is actually centered around Santiago. On my list I have lessons learned and quotes, but the truth is this book is basically, you know what, I'm just gonna say it's a book of wisdom. I could not pick one lesson learned. Like there's so many lessons. Like there's the fact that you should always follow your heart. There's the fact that you should pursue your personal legend. In the book, what they meant by personal legend was basically following the thing that you were put on this earth to achieve. So being able to find it and also follow your heart in pursuing that personal legend. And then there's the fact that if you really want something, the whole universe conspires to help you get it. That's like the most famous quote from The Alchemist, if you've ever heard that before. And then there's just so many things to learn. There's a lot of lessons about love, about commitment, about passion, about focus. I feel like I told my friends when I first read this book that it's a book that I want to read every year, just to refresh my, I don't know, my soul. Just to be able to go back and say, you know what, this is just what I need right now. The Alchemist is that kind of book for you. And I know it seems like as if I'm overkilling it, but the truth is it actually is a really good book. I don't think I've ever seen or heard about anybody who read this book and didn't like it. So I don't know, if you don't like it, maybe your problem is deeper than I can solve. I don't know. In terms of quotes and lessons learned, there is a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs I would like to read out to you guys. And yeah, it's a book review, so you came here for this, so don't even complain. I'm going to read out some paragraphs to you, or passages to you. So the first one is about love and commitment. So if you are in a place in your life that you need to be reassured about love and commitment, then this is for you. It says, page 96, it was the pure language of the world. It required no explanation, just as the universe needs none as it travels through endless time. What the boy felt at that moment was that he was in the presence of the only woman in his life, and that with no need for words, she recognized the same thing. He was more certain of it than of anything in the world. He had been told by his parents and grandparents that he must fall in love and really know a person before becoming committed. But maybe people who felt that way had never learned the universal language. Because when you know that language, it's easy to understand that someone in the world awaits you, whether it's in the middle of the desert or in some great city. And when two such people encounter each other and their eyes meet, the past and the future become unimportant. There is only that moment and the incredible certainty that everything under the sun has been written by one hand only. It is the hand that evokes love and creates a twin soul for every person in the world. Without such love, one's dreams would have no meaning. Like, I read that passage, like, I don't know, I feel like I need to go over it every single day, because I had to put it down somewhere and say, you know what, this is one of my favorite passages, you should come back to this. So I'm going to be reading another passage, which is on page 136. If you have your book with you, you can read with me. So on page 136, this is one about the test of the soul. The Alchemist says, your heart is still capable of showing you where the treasure is. And the boy responds, is that the one thing I still needed to know? No, the Alchemist answered. What you still need to know is this. Before a dream is realized, the soul of the world tests everything that was learned along the way. It does this not because it is evil, but so that we can, in addition to realizing our dreams, master the lessons we have learned as we've moved toward that dream. That's the point at which most people give up. It's the point at which, as we say in the language of the desert, one dies of thirst just when the palm trees have appeared on the horizon. Every search begins with beginner's luck, and every search ends with the victor's being severely tested. The boy remembered an old proverb from his country. It said that the darkest hour of the night came just before dawn. Now that particular passage really got to me because I don't know if you watching this, you've ever felt this way before, where you're doing everything you can and things are going so smoothly, and then when it's at that point when you want to like cross into the next level, where you want to achieve something, like at that point everything just falls to pieces and it just seems like as if you can't get back up, and you were so sure moments or days ago that this was what you were supposed to do, right? Like you could have prepared for this particular exam which is going to get you the job of your dreams, and then you just happen to fail it. Or you have been trying to start your business and everything has been going on fine, the suppliers, everything has been great, and then just at the moment when you're gonna start and finally achieve that dream, something terrible happens. Maybe your inventory catches fire, or just there's a delay somewhere that just frustrates you. This passage is trying to say that it is at that point that most people give up, but if you do not give up, then you'd eventually grab everything that you have been waiting for. How is this book just so filled with wisdom? It's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to read one more passage. Page 155. The boy says, "That's what alchemists do. They show that when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too." "Well, why did you say that I don't know about love then?" the son asked the boy. "Because it is not love to be static like the desert, nor is it love to roam the world like the wind. And it is not love to see everything from a distance like you do. Love is the force that transforms and improves the soul of the world. When I first reached through to it, I thought the soul of the world was perfect. But later, I could see that it was like other aspects of creation and had its own passions and wars. It is we who nourish the soul of the world, and the world we live in will be either better or worse, depending on whether we become better or worse. And that's where the power of love comes in. Because when we love, we always strive to become better than we are." Like, this is not just about the love between a couple. Like, it's not about romance. Like, it's about everything. It's about life. It's about your neighbor. It's about the big picture, the world. What this passage is trying to say is, if you do not become better as a person, and if every single one of us in the world does not try or strive to become better as people, then the world would never be a better place. All the things that we're seeing right now is just people deciding not to be better, not to want to grow, not to want to see that, if I'm better, then the next person beside me is going to be better. Like it says, when we evolve, everything around us becomes great, becomes good. I feel like I'm preaching now. Like, I don't know. You guys go read this book. Let me now talk about the book. Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom to gain from this book. Like, a lot. Like, you could just read this book and you have your life covered. you can go out and be like, you know what, I understand what life means now. Yeah, it's that kind of book, and I really, really, really loved it. I will talk a little bit about the plot. Now, the book is about just one boy moving through his journey of life, right? Journey through life, and he experiences a lot of things. But I think what struck me the most about the book is, like I said before, the simplicity and being able to just convey the information as clear and simple as possible was perfect for me. Like, I read a lot of complicated books, so being able to just come and share with this book was refreshing. Every single part of the book is relatable, right? The people who didn't follow their personal legends, relatable. At every point in your life, there's something to relate with this book, right? The crystal merchant, the thief, the Englishman who was so focused on the little bits that he refused to like raise his head and take a breath and actually see what was going on around him. You are going through life's journey. Yes, there's a destination, you're going somewhere, but on your way you should also stop to smell the flowers. Like, we hear that every single time, but it was described in a different way in this book. And yeah, it's just about living your life, going towards your destiny. Okay, first of all, knowing what your destiny is. And in order to know what your destiny is, you have to be able to listen to people. You have to be able to listen to advice, trust people, trust yourself, and trust your heart. Because when the boy had the recurring dream, he did not know what it meant, but he was wise enough to know that he needed to seek help to find out what it meant. So that's one thing that we miss in our lives. Like, most of us do not know what we need to do with ourselves. Like, I know for a couple of years I did not know what I want to do in my life, but I always surrounded myself with people who could advise me. There's certain things that you don't see about yourself that other people see. There's certain talents that you have that you do not see about yourself. I would be like, you know what, you have a really good voice. You could be a radio presenter, you could be an on-air presenter. And I'm like, what? My voice? No, my voice is so annoying. I never like the sound of my own voice. You know, it could be that that person's personal legend is to actually be an on-air presenter. But the point is, are they willing to open up themselves to agree or to accept who they are and who they are supposed to be? Or are they expecting a particular, maybe an angel to come down to tell them, you know? So that was one thing I really learned from Santiago. Like, he was able to say, you know what, I'm gonna go meet this gypsy woman to find out why I'm having this dream or what the dream means. And when he spoke with the king and the king told him about his life and everything, he was able to say, okay, yeah, this makes sense. I would listen to you and I would take that leap of faith and go and pursue my personal legend. So that's the first thing I learned about this book, or learned from this book. The second thing is, which is like, I feel like is a central theme to this book, is that a lot of crap is going to come down on you. Like, I'm not even kidding. You watching this, you know. Like, you're going to be derailed, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be depressed, angry, pissed off. Like, a lot of things are going to happen that makes you know what, I'm done. But looking at Santiago's life, you're able to understand that, yeah, a lot of things happened to Santiago, but wherever he found himself, he applied himself the best way he could. Right? This boy did not know if he was going to be able to get to the pyramids, but he was like, you know what, I'm stuck in this merchant shop, this crystal merchant shop. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to improve the shop to the point that when I leave, this person is going to know that I was here. And that is one thing that a lot of us do not do, right? We say, okay, you know what, I do not like where I am right now, so I'm going to be miserable and I'm going to make everybody around me miserable too. Right? Why not try to lift up other people? Like, yes, you cannot get to your own dream right now, but what if you are the stepping stone for somebody else? Shouldn't that be okay for you at that point in time? Do you know if maybe being that stepping stone is what will now lead to your own happiness? So wherever you are, even if you do not like where you are, you hate your job, yes, I get it, but as you're trying to get a better job and trying to get the job that you feel is the best for you, try to put in your best where you are. Who knows, maybe your boss seeing how good you are might be the reference that will get you the best job. Santiago's life is like very exemplary in terms of what we should do in terms of in the midst of strife, in the midst of struggle, in the midst of frustration. This guy was robbed 3 times and he was still able to say, you know what, I'm going to focus. And I get it, it's a fictional book, right? But the point is, there are a lot of things to learn. If we do not have a somewhat unachievable standard, then we can never ever be better. We always strive to be perfect, even though we know that we cannot be perfect. But it's that striving that makes us human, that makes us want to keep living. And another thing I also learned from Santiago, like I said already, his willingness to listen, right? His willingness to keep quiet and listen and learn. That is Santiago. He was always asking questions. Oh, how do I do this? How do I tap into the soul of the world? How do I listen to my heart? How do I trust my heart? There's so many questions that Santiago asked in this book that are very inspirational. Questions that you might have asked yourself in different ways. And it was refreshing to see. He was able to just recognize things as they were. Like when love came, he was able to recognize it immediately. And that, according to the book, that was him tapping into the soul of the world and understanding the universal language. And a lot of us might not be able to like relate with those terms like personal legend, soul of the world, universal language, but I'll put it simply: personal legend, following your destiny, following what you were put on this earth to do, what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled. That's your personal legend. And beware, your personal legend can change. The moment you achieve it, you're not supposed to just be stagnant. You're supposed to become better and find another personal legend. So that idea of my purpose in life is just one thing, once I achieve that I'll be happy, that's never gonna happen. So get out of the way. Now, soul of the world is basically, I understood it as that thing that connects everything, right? We're all created by one hand. That's actually a quote directly from the book. We're all created by one hand, so everything is connected. Everything is connected to the soul of the world, and the soul of the world is the soul of God, and the soul of God is your soul. So it's just like a round and round and round. So we're all connected. So if we're connected, it means that I can understand you. Now there's a spiritual level to it. There's the spiritual level of, oh, how do we tap into a certain level of consciousness where you understand people's thoughts and feelings and things like that. But there's also the physical and simple level, which is just basically opening yourself up to learn from people and listen to people and make them feel heard, and also be able to communicate to people in a way that they can understand you. So it's like a mutual understanding with all things. Understand that we are all human beings. We all go through the same stuff. So how do we accommodate each other in our lives so that everybody's happy? So for me that's like the physical level of the soul of the world. And then there is the spiritual level, which I feel like if we continue to sharpen, then we can actually attain that too. You know, like I've noticed things in my life. I don't know if you watching it, you have actually noticed this too, but there's certain things that your conscience tells you. We call it intuition, right? Instincts, reflexes. There's certain things that your conscience or your heart tells you, but most of us, we just like, we dismiss it as nothing. But that is what in this book they were calling following your heart. Your heart speaks to you. It made it seem like as if your heart was a separate being that talks to you, so like a conscience. Now, it's trying to say that your heart tries to tell you a lot of things. As you grow more into the world, permit me to use that, your heart stops speaking to you, or it speaks to you in a lower tone, in a lower volume, because it knows that you're not going to listen. It directs you. It tells you about fears and wishes and dreams and everything, and also lets you know when danger is coming and tells you how to leave. Like, you know, that feeling you get, you're like, you know what, I don't know, I have a bad feeling, I don't want to go to work today. Those are the things that your heart is trying to tell you, trying to warn you. There are a lot of things to learn from this book, but the ultimate lesson is basically, most of the time, the treasure that you seek is right here with you. like literally right here with you. But most times God is gonna want to like allow you go through the journey. He's gonna want to allow you go through the long path so that you can learn. It's easy to just say, oh, you know what, my like that's where it is, go get it. When it's handed to you, you do not appreciate it. But when you work for it, you appreciate it and you hold it dear. So that's basically what this whole book is about. Like, the boy had to go for the journey. He had to go through all those things that he went through so that he could learn more about himself, learn more about the world, learn more about the soul of the world and the universal language, and also be able to fulfill his personal legend, even though the treasure was basically just where he started. My favorite scene of the book is the part where he was having a conversation with the desert, the wind, and the sun. That's just like so awesome. Like, what was my least favorite part of the book? I don't know. I would say when he was working for the crystal merchant. Yeah. Most of the times when I'm remembering the Alchemist, that part doesn't really strike me, Every part of this book was awesome, but if I had to choose my favorite part, then yeah, the part where he was talking to the elements, and then my least favorite part would be when he was working for the crystal merchant. Yeah. So for the end of this video, which is basically the part you have been waiting for, my rating out of 10. I think there are so many aspects of the book that I could rate, but in terms of simplicity and value, like, I feel like this book is something that you buy and you never stop reaping the value of it. So in terms of that, I would say like a 9. In terms of oversimplicity, I would say the book was overly simple. Like, I don't know, it felt like something I was just like reading, like a book of quotes or something. There was not a lot of plot twists and suspense and stuff like that. So yeah, apart from the very end, which I'm not gonna spoil for you, apart from the very end, like literally the last page, there was really not much suspense in the book. So because of that, I'll give you like a 7. In terms of freshness, uniqueness, I don't think I've ever read any book like this. Even the story itself, plus the fact that it's so allegorical, I don't think I've ever read any book like this. So for that, I'll give it an 8. So overall, average of everything, probably like an 8.5. Yeah, so my final rating for The Alchemist is 8.5. I love this book. Now off to the next book we're going to be reading. Now guys, I know this particular book, I didn't tell you guys I was reading it beforehand, but this next one, please, if you want to read with me, 1 month we're going to read a book and I'm going to come back here to review it with you. And then you can also jump in my comment section and tell me what you thought about whatever book we've read. So if you read The Alchemist already, please jump in my comment section. If you haven't, please go and read it and let me know when you have and what you thought about the book. So the next book we're going to be reading, I just ordered it and it's coming tomorrow, I'm so excited, is The Crucible. And The Crucible is by Arthur Miller, and it was written in 1953, and it's a play. I'm very excited about this because I haven't read a play in a while, so this is gonna be really fun. And yeah guys, if you can get this book and read with me, please do, and I'll see you at the end of February. It's gonna be so much fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's long, but this is actually gonna be like long stuff, and it's once a month, so this is the only time I have to really talk about the book and really dig deep into the book. So yeah guys, expect long videos for this book reviews. I will drop the link in the description box for this graphic novel and as well as the actual book, The Alchemist, if you want to get them for yourself. Please let me know what you think about this particular segment. If you like it, is it something you want me to continue? Do you have suggestions of books you'd want me to read? I already have a book for February, so you can suggest one for March and till December. So suggest books and I will definitely read them and get back to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you. If you are still here by this time, you are a star. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are new, please subscribe, like this video, share with your family and friends and your book lovers. And it's bye from the book cave.